So this video might be demonetized just because of the animal that we're building for today, but let's try it. Today we're building a habitat for the Dik-Diks and also the meerkats, but mostly the Dik-Diks. Anyways, before the video actually starts, don't forget to like and subscribe button if you want to see more. Now let the demonetization begin. So did I build this entire habitat just because I wanted to constantly say Dik-Dik? Yes, because I have the mind of a teenager. And I just like saying Dik-Dik. And YouTube is probably not going to like it. But it's also a habitat for the meerkats. Did I also mention that it's a walkthrough habitat? Because Naturalis doesn't have many of those. But because it's just a really tiny deer. And I was just like, alright, it's going to be too boring if it's just like a tiny habitat with some deer running around. So I want to add meerkats because I once had meerkats in Naturalis and then I removed them and I still had them in the trade center. So I was just like, this is also a form of recycling. We're green here at Naturalis. And then I decided, yeah, but I want the habitat to be a little bit larger, and if it's, again, still just like the meerkats and the Dik-Diks just walking around, because, spoiler alert, both of those animals are tiny. Then I thought, oh yeah, this is just going to be boring, because I want to make smaller habitats, but it's also a lot of fun to make large habitats, and then you can go wild with like foliage and just theming and everything. But then if you also have tiny animals in that habitat, then it's just, what's this habitat for? Is it a habitat for the actual animals, or is it just because I want to build something pretty? Most of the time it's the latter, because I have zero self-control. Anyways, so this video was also supposed to be released almost 2 weeks ago, although this time I have a valid excuse, and no, it's not work related. I basically laid in bed with a fever when Frontier reached out for like early access, and it was just like, I'm going to try and build, but I also feel like hell is freezing over because I never get a fever. Literally. Like, my throat will feel like the Sahara Desert, my nose is Niagara Falls, my head is basically used as a bounce ball for elephants, but I never really get a fever when I'm sick. And this time I actually had a fever and I felt like that. But here's also the funny part. I hate being sick. I think that's not unreasonable. I think nobody really likes being sick. Unless you're a kid and it's like a mild sickness where it's just enough to keep you out of school. Like, then you might enjoy being sick. But like, I don't like being sick. Why? Because I feel useless. Like, I want to do stuff. I have zero energy. I feel like dead. But I will not lay in bed the entire day. I will go insane. So I started building for the Dik-Diks and the meerkats, but mostly the Dik-Diks. And it just went a little bit slower because for the first 3 days I actually had to stay in bed. Yeah. Fevers are great. But here's the fun thing of it. I don't actually know where I was going with that. My brain was just like, yeah, let's add a fun thing to it. And then my brain was just like, yeah, you're on your own now. There was some information there, but it's just gone. It's into the ether. It's into the void. But no, like the fun thing was like, oh yeah, the Frontier, like the pack is, I don't know when the pack is going to come and such. And then of course, the week that I get sick, I think they have just planned it now, and it's totally not incompetence of planning on my part. No, it's totally Frontier's fault. It's always Frontier's fault. But yeah, so for one of the very few times in my life, I actually got a fever, which then prevented me from building, which meant that the video was already late. And then I had to go into work and I didn't have time. So here the work part comes in again. But yeah, so it took a little bit of time. It's only 2.5 weeks. And for one time, I just want to like do it like literally a year later. Like, let's say the next pack gets released and I only release a video on it a year after, because it kind of feels like I'm setting a trend of me just being very late when it comes to early access. Like, oh, you guys, you will not see Planet Coaster 2 for like 5 years. And then I will be just like, yeah, I was sick. It's 5 years. Yeah, I had a flu. But anyway, so yeah, decided to build for the Dik-Diks. I first thought, oh yeah, palace cat, because I can make a small habitat for them. They're carnivorous animals, so they are not going to really have any other animals with them. But then I realized I'm an immature child and I want to say Dik-Dik, even though it might demonetize the video, because, I mean, if you get a free pass to just keep saying Dik-Dik, if you are sort of like me, you're just like, yes, we're going for that. I might even be mispronouncing it. Might be like Dik-Dik or something. Like I'm awful with pronunciation. Like, I barely can speak English. I can barely speak Dutch. Like, language skills were just not on my resume ever. Actually, funnily enough, they are. Like, on my resume, it says that I speak English and Dutch. Yeah, I lied. I mean, at least in these videos, it comes up as like, yeah, I lied. I swear, I'm a regular, normal human in real life. It's just whenever I start recording for these voiceovers, that side of my brain just leaves me. Or it's like I get all of my idiocracy out in these videos, and so then I can be a normal, regular human in real life. And then as soon as like the craziness starts again, I make another video. Can I use that as an excuse for being late? But anyway, so let's just quickly check up on the Zookeeper's pack, because that's what this video should be about, because Frontier gave me early access to the Zookeeper's pack. Again, I'm a week late, but we will just skip past that for now, even though I spent probably 5 minutes already talking about it. But what do I think of the Zookeeper's pack? That's basically my entire thing about the Zookeeper's pack. I think because it's like zookeepers, and I was really thinking like, oh, we're going to get a lot of backstage stuff. I'm constantly comparing it to the conservation pack, which had a lot of backstage stuff. So it might have an unfair enemy there, but it's just like the animals are fine. When it came to the building piece, I was just like, alright. We got curtains. We got curtains. Like, there's curtains in the game now, so you don't have to use like the Indonesian tapestry bits to make curtains. I don't know where I'm going to use it, but I want to use the curtains. But maybe it's also just because like all of the building pieces aren't really functional for Naturalis. Like, I don't think... Well, maybe it would work for like a construction site or something, like all of the tent pieces, because pretty much all of the pieces that you got with the Zookeeper's pack are like, I would say barbecue pieces. Like, it's like those pieces, like, or those tents that you set up when you have like a barbecue, like a community barbecue or like something like that. It just feels very much like that. There's nothing to me that really says Zookeeper. Because again, like, Zookeeper to me makes me think, oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of backstage stuff, because what do zookeepers do? They do a lot of like backstage stuff, preparing food and such. And this was just backyard barbecue pack. I think that's what we should call it. Don't put the Dik-Diks on the barbecue though, because then we have roasted Dik-Diks, and that literally sounds like something you should see a doctor for. And something that might be spreadable by handlings. Which is actually... Handlings is not an English word, it's a poison word, because it's from the Dutch handelingen, which is basically just actions, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, this is your poison word of the day. It's not the Dutch, well, actually, it is also the Dutch word, but it's just poison, again, proving that he has zero grasp of language in general. Because he will just mash together Dutch and English and form an entire new language of his own. By the end, like in 10 years' time, there will just be an entire dictionary just with poisonisms. It's just that. Anyway, so back to the actual build and the zookeeper spec. So in general, here's the thing. I really thought we would get like a secretary bird or a shoebill. And then I saw that we got a turtle, and I mean, turtles are great, but you know, there's secretary birds. There's also the tree kangaroo, which is kind of adorable. And then you of course have puffins, which are always on my list. I don't know why they're not on anyone else's list, because they look adorable. And they also look like if you look at a puffin, it looks like an animal that if you shake it, you can actually hear the one brain cell just boinking around. If you try that with me, you will also know that that's very much the case with me. If you shake me, you will also hear that one brain cell. Don't start shaking me. Don't know why I said that, because my brain just sometimes goes 10 times faster than, well, actually my mouth goes 10 times faster than my brain. Like, my brain is like geriatric sometimes. And I'm just like, yeah, blah 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 blah. My brain is still on the sentence from 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm definitely also the person who, like, the day after thinks of like a greatest comeback off for like something that was said to me. The day after. Or like when I go to sleep at night. That's, yeah. Anyways, so in general, just what do I think of the Zookeeper's pack? If this is the last pack, which I'm not going to say if it is or isn't, because fuck it, I don't know, and at this point, I'm just like, if Frontier gives us more Planet Zoo packs, I'm fine. If Frontier doesn't give us any more Planet Zoo packs, I'm also fine. I don't really care, because Naturalis will never end. It's my Alcatraz now. But, well, before anyone thinks that I don't like building in Naturalis, I do. Lately it's just been a giant shit show because I have like 2 other builds in the background that I have to now blur on the map in the cinematics after the video, because my brain just can't handle building on one single thing until it is done. And now I actually, did I say I had 2? I now have 3. Because I completely, I said, oh yeah, we're going to finish the Australian area first. Yeah, but then I built for the Dik-Diks, and so I was building African stuff, and now I want to build African stuff, so now we're going to expand the African area of Naturalis, because I don't know how to plan stuff. Anyway, so yeah, about that Planet Goes to Do stuff, you will see that in like 5 years, because I'm late to the game. Or just late. At one point, that is just going to be a thing, with like how things are progressing. At one point, a game will release, I will start talking about it, of like, yeah, I will play it and everything. Then it gets released, nothing. 5 years later, yeah, I finally got to play it. I'm an idiot. Anyway, so back to the actual Dik-Diks. I still haven't said like in what I thought of the Zookeeper pack in general. Or I might have said it 3 times already, but again, if I start shaking my head, you will just... It will basically be just like, how do you call those things? Maracas, like the things that you shake with like rice or like some kind of beads in it, and it like makes a nice sound. If you shake me, that's what you hear in my head. It's just maraca. Like, it's not a single brain cell, there's just a maraca in there. Anyway, so when it came to the Zookeeper's pack, if this is the last pack, it does kind of feel like Planet Zoo goes out with a whimper instead of with a bang. Which also sounds like any No, we're not even going to continue that one because we're already on the line with Dik-Diks. So we're just going to halt that thought there. But anyways, so when building for the Dik-Diks, do remember they are tiny, but they have a huge hitbox, just like any animal in Planet Zoo. Although, funnily enough, for once, I built a gate for their interior space that was actually the right space. Because by now, I've just learned to not just double the animal, like set two next to each other and take that space. No, I also do now just put animals on top of each other and take that height for any entrances, because I don't know why their hitboxes are so ginormous. And it's like, yeah, I want to make basically a tiny doggy door for like the meerkats. What's that? You can't go through it? You're literally the size of my hand. My hand can go through a doggy door, why can't you? I will shove you through that door and then you will figure out I can actually go through there. Like, that's my only big gripe when it comes to Planet Zoo. When it comes to building for animals, the hitboxes are just so huge that like really realistic building is sometimes just not possible, just because like the gates and the entrances need to be huge. Also, I did already say that I was a dumbass, but when it comes to Planet Zoo, or basically when it comes to me building, I am now so set in my ways that I for sure think that there's like a short key bind that makes it so that you select every piece in a group. I haven't found it, but I for sure think that somebody once mentioned that there's a button for that. And I don't know if I will actually use it when I find it, because I'm like so set in my ways of like, yeah, I will just drag a window across every piece that I need. I also for a long time didn't think I would use the color selection thing, but now I've used that pretty much everywhere. Because it's easy. The only thing that I don't like when it comes to the color selection, and this really feels like this is going to be a Poison Rants video, but the one thing that I don't like is when with the color selection you don't actually select the pieces in a way. Like, you can't like select every piece of a color and then make that its own group or anything like that. If it is able to do that, then just ignore me. Then it's just silly old Poison just don't knowing what he's talking about. Which, to be honest, if you listen to my videos or watch these videos and you think, yeah, I should listen to Poison, you are very wrong, and that's dangerous territory because I'm a dumbass. Like, don't take any advice from me. And if I sound even slightly logical, just know that I've been taken over by AI and that like robots are going to take over the world. If I sound logical, that's not me, because I am a chaos gremlin. Well, actually, I'm probably just like a chaos goblin. Gremlins, you can actually, I don't know why this thought just went into my brain, but it's just like, oh yeah, but gremlins you can like toss and then it's funny. Like, you can pick up a gremlin and throw them. If you pick up me, you will lose the hand. Maybe I'm not like a goblin, maybe I'm just a vicious, dumb, idiotic cat. And I'm just like, yeah, I will claw your face off. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the Dik-Dik build. So I basically wanted to build a sort of small village vibe. So I built like separate buildings. One for the Dik-Diks, because I like saying Dik-Dik, so I'm going to keep saying Dik-Diks, because with my accent and such, somebody will just like start this video and will be just like, what the hell is Poison talking about? But then that's also 80% of the videos, like maybe 99, let's be honest. But just saying Dik-Diks is fun. But there is a small little building for the Dik-Diks. Then there's another building for the meerkats. and I really like it. There's also a third building, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It doesn't have, well, it does have a door. I thought of like, oh yeah, it's going to be like a shop or something, but I don't know, because I want this to actually be next to a park, like just a nice place of rest. And I think a shop would kind of nullify that. It might become a toilet, but then there's a toilet very close to it, which makes this feel kind of unnecessary. So I have no idea what to do with that building. I just think the building there looked nice. I have no idea what the function of the building is going to be. It could be like a zookeeper's post. That would probably be a good thing. Although, when it comes to Naturalis, there's no like rest points for the zookeepers in Naturalis. There's rest, or like the zoo or the staff area or staff building in the staff area or the backstage area, but within Naturalis itself, I don't think I've built any of those rest areas for the staff yet. So before you think, oh yeah, this is then going to be a staff area, because hey, Poison is mentioning that it needs more staff rest areas or rest buildings. Yeah, this building is too small for that. So I might need to build something somewhere else. But yeah, I just want this to be next to like a park, or like just like a sort of empty area, because right now Naturalis is really busy, and then having like some empty areas where it's just like grass, trees, some plants, and just nature makes it all a little bit more cohesive, because it's not just like constant screaming. So there's that. Also, this habitat, for some reason, like looking at the rest of the African area, for some reason I went fully out with the trees here. Like if you look at the rhino habitat, or what is it, the porcupine habitats and such, like there's far less trees there. And I don't know why for this habitat it just really worked well with a lot of trees. Maybe just because I wanted this like secluded village vibe, but even then, usually it's like, alright, I want to put in the maximum amount of trees, and it's like I put in 3 trees. Here I put in probably 10 or 15. I haven't counted yet, but it's a lot compared to all of the other African areas. Or African habitats. Also, I had the idea of, well, this is in the very start of the African area, where I wanted to have like African savanna area, and then in the middle African oasis, or just oasis, which was going to then be a little bit more Middle Eastern themed. I am probably going to take that away. I still want like the sort of more Middle Eastern themed area, but right now that oasis area is like 4 to 8 meters below the rest of Naturalis. And if you know or remember, Naturalis is supposed to be in the Netherlands, because I want to make things easy for myself, because the Netherlands is flat as hell, so I don't have to do a lot of terraforming in Naturalis if I just say, oh, it's in the Netherlands. That's not going to work in Plant Coaster 2 with the ideas that I have, but Naturalis is in the Netherlands. So if you then remember, oh yeah, in the Netherlands, it's really flat. It's also mostly below sea level. What happens when land is below sea level and you start digging? You will very quickly hit groundwater. So if you go and dig like 8 meters down, you will create a lake. So that would not work. And also I just don't like how disconnected it is, so I will probably remove the oasis area, put it back in, but just in a different way. Also, funnily enough, I already said, oh, this is where the most trees are in the African area so far. It's also where the first palm trees are, or at least the first of the African, I don't know what those palm trees are called. The pretty palm trees, not the dates, which if you like the date palms, good for you. I just think they look a little bit especially if you compare them to the trees that I used in this build. But I just really like the sort of more the fan-like palm trees that we got with, I think, the Africa pack or some pack in that area, because by now we've gotten so many Planet Zoo packs that I have no idea what packs we have and what packs we don't. Again, I'm an idiot, but I also have like the memory of a goldfish, and I will very easily just be like, oh yeah, this animal is from like, let's say the Australia pack. No poison, this was from the Grasslands pack, or this animal is from like the Oceania pack. Oh. I usually don't really have that with pieces, which really just shows that, yeah, I'm a builder first. And animals, they are pretty set dressing. I also continuously have to like, this is one of the negatives of just going completely wild when it comes to building habitats. My animals keep getting boxed. Especially the koalas now. They are constantly just in a box in the water. They look like abandoned kittens. Which is really sad that some people like abandon their kittens and throw like a box of them in like a river or something. Yeah. If you ever just like abandon your animals, I will find you. And I will hunt you down. Because at least like bring them to some place where somebody can take care of them. Don't just like abandon them in a box along the road. And if you're really cruel, and yes, I have heard of it, of kittens or just animals and pets just being put in a box and then the box being like thrown into the water or something. I have heard of that happening. And yes, humanity is fucked up, and if you do that, I will find you. I will hunt you down. And I will... Well, let's not give the police any more evidence towards my... Well, actually, there's no way that I could, in any case, say, oh yeah, I'm a sane person, because then they just open up YouTube and it's just like, this is a sane person. No, it's not. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, sad stuff about abandoning animals. Let's talk about Dik-Diks again and the Meerkats. So, when it comes to putting the Dik-Diks and Meerkats together, I don't think they have like animal enrichment of putting those animals together. But it's just two tiny animals, like one big animal. Or at least that's how it goes in my brain. If you want tiny animals, but you want to have the vibe of a bigger animal, just put two tiny animals together. And it feels like the habitat is alive. There's two Dik-Diks in here, and I have no idea how many Meerkats, because honestly, so many Meerkats. I really wonder what happens if I, like right now, in the settings of Naturalis, like the breeding is turned off. So animals won't age, but they also won't give birth. I really wonder what happens if I turn it on and just let it roll for an hour. I wonder how many of my habitats will just explode. Because there's probably animals in Naturalis right now that would just go completely feral. And then I would come back and it's like, oh yeah, I put two animals here. Oh, there's now 30. Anyways, also another thing that made me sad when I thought of the turtles. Like the turtle that we have in the Zookeeper pack. They don't lay eggs. Which is, nah. I mean, Zoo Tycoon gave us eggs. Planet Zoo actually also gave us eggs, but they're scenery pieces. Which is in a way funny to me. Because it's like, yeah, you can pretend that the animals lay eggs. But they're not really laying eggs. But anyways, on the whole, when it comes to the Zookeeper pack, it's just a meh for me. Nah. I could have done without it, to be honest. Anyway, so that's it for today's build, today's video. I probably have to run because police is probably chasing me because this amount of chaos is illegal. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed this build, even though it was 2 weeks late, because I don't know how to keep a schedule. Anyways, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more. There's also channel memberships if you want early access to videos, even though I'm so bad when it comes to uploading videos that might not actually be helpful in any way. But anyways, have a wonderful day, guys. Bye bye.